Hello everyone, my name is Prajakta Dhage. I am from Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Today I'll be taking a class for SYBSc first semester. Subject is Animal Diversity 3. It is the paper 1, and the chapter that we are dealing with right now is Study of Scoliodon. This is the fourth lecture of this particular chapter. And today we will be dealing with the rest of the parts of digestive system, which includes the associated glands of digestive system, and we will also be dealing with the physiology of digestion and food and feeding. Okay, so we will be completing the left part of the digestive system. In the initial lectures or in the previous lecture, we have seen the entire alimentary canal, which included mouth, buccal cavity. We have seen pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, rectum. Okay, and now today we will be seeing the digestive glands, which are liver, pancreas, rectal gland, gastric glands, and intestinal glands. Okay, so let's begin. If you see, the first gland is going to be the liver. Now if you see, the liver is a very large structure. Okay, it is massive, it is yellowish in nature and elongated. Now the liver in case of Scoliodon is going to be a bilobed structure. Bilobed, it is going to have two lobes. These lobes are connected on the anterior side with each other. Okay, on the right side or on the right lobe, there will be a V-shaped structure or V-shaped gland will be present. The V-shaped structure is referred to as the gallbladder, and from this gallbladder there will be a small bile duct coming out. Now to this bile duct, there are more smaller ducts will be arising from the liver lobe, and this will be getting attached to this particular bile duct. Now this duct in turn is going to open into the intestine. So bile duct is going to open into the intestine on the dorsal side at the anterior portion. What is the function of liver? Liver is going to secrete the bile, and it also stores the glycogen and fat. The another function of liver is that it is going to remove the worn out RBCs that are there or damaged RBCs that are reaching it. Those will be removed from the liver. Now the shark liver has a large amount of economic value. Why? Because the shark liver oil is rich in the vitamin A and vitamin D, and it is a rich source of vitamin A and D. So the people who are lacking these two vitamins, they are given supplements of this particular shark liver oil. Moving on to the next part, which is pancreas. Now the pancreas are going to be, again this is a bilobe structure. The first lobe is going to lie parallel to the cardiac stomach, and the second lobe, which is going to be on the ventral side. Okay, the one which is parallel to the cardiac stomach is going to be the dorsal one, and the one which is going to be in the close vicinity of the pyloric stomach or the second lobe is going to be ventral in nature. From this pancreas arises the pancreatic duct, which is again going to open into the anterior part of the intestine, and where? Ventrally. Okay, so what is the function of pancreas? It is going to secrete the pancreatic juice. So let's move on to the next gland, which is called as a rectal gland. Now see, the function of the rectal gland, it is going to secrete some amount of substance into the intestine, but the function of this particular secretion is not known. Okay, now the next gland is going to be the gastric gland. Gastric glands, where are they present? Obviously they are going to be present in the cardiac stomach. So the lining of the cardiac stomach is going to have very minute glands referred to as the gastric glands. What are the secretions of it? It secretes the gastric juice. The components of the gastric juice are pepsin and hydrochloric acid. We will see what is the use of these two when we start with the physiology of digestion. Another gland is going to be the intestinal gland. The intestinal gland are going to be present inside the intestine. They will be present in the mucous lining of the intestine, and they are going to secrete a secretion called as succus entericus. Obviously, it is going to contain certain enzymes which are useful for digestion. The next one is actually talking about, many people also include spleen in this, but you need to understand that even if you are including, some of the books may be including spleen in the digestive system, it is not a part of digestive system, it is a lymphoid organ. Okay, why it is included in the digestive system? The only reason for it is that it is in very close association with the digestive system, hence it is, that particular gland is studied in many of the books, they refer it here. Okay, so moving on to the next portion, which is food feeding and physiology of digestion. What do they feed on, right? Now these organisms, as we all know, these are carnivores, these are predators, okay, and in some cases they also show scavengerous behavior. So obviously they are going to feed on the smaller fish, they are going to feed on lobsters, they are going to feed on the sepia. So small organisms they are going to feed on, small mollusks they will feed on, which are available in the sea waters. Now moving on to the physiology of digestion. Now when we talk about physiology of digestion, the first thing that will come to your mind is mouth and teeth, right? Do they have any function? So what is the function of the teeth? Here in this case, the function of the teeth is just to grasp the prey. The teeth are not used for masticating, right? The only function of the teeth is going to be holding the prey and tearing it apart, and not for mastication. The churning process will not occur with the help of these kind of teeth. Now the food is going to enter inside the body, and without any processing it is going to pass from the buccal cavity, from the pharynx, from the esophagus, and then it is going to enter into the cardiac stomach. Now this is the place where the digestion begins. Okay, so in the cardiac stomach we all know that gastric glands are present, secretion is pepsin and HCl. Now these two enzymes, they bring about, HCl is meant for softening of the food. You need to understand that the teeth were not used for churning or masticating the food. So the food has come directly inside the stomach as it is. So it needs to be softened, right? So softening of the food is brought about by the hydrochloric acid or HCl that is present in the cardiac stomach. Pepsin will result into the digestion of proteins. It will digest the proteins to peptones, cytokinins, proteoses. So there is a beginning of digestion of proteins over here, and now the digestion that is occurring over here is going to be a partial kind of digestion. Digestion is not fully completed over here, right? Now as this semi-digested food is now going to enter into the pyloric stomach. Does the digestion occur here? No. Pyloric stomach, there is no digestion occurring over here. The food will only be passed from the pyloric stomach, and then it is by bursa enchiana, it is going to enter into the intestine. Now when it is entering into the intestine, what we have studied is that at the very anterior portion of the intestine, what two ducts are opening? First one is bile duct, second one is pancreatic duct, right? So the function of the bile duct or secretions of the bile are going to result into increasing the alkalinity of the food. So the food is going to become alkaline over here, okay. Now also the pancreatic juices are acting, right? Then you have intestinal glands also present. So together, all together, these glands, this pancreatic gland as well as this intestinal gland, they are going to secrete the enzymes, right? They will secrete trypsin, which will be responsible for digestion of, further digestion of protein. Then it will secrete amylopsin, which will be essential for digestion of starches. Then certain lipases will be secreted. Okay, so the further digestion will occur inside the intestine. The entire digestion has occurred inside the intestine. Because of this scroll wall, there will be absorption of the digested food material. Later on, the undigested food material will enter the rectum, and from rectum to cloaca, and then it will be ejected out through the cloacal aperture. So, this was all about the food feeding and physiology of digestion. So, we are done with this particular topic over here, and thank you for listening to the lecture. Thank you so much.